Welcome back to the Archive Network. Aurelius here, with Malik, curators of the Classified Archive. We left Aldrich Ames last time, and as the investigation concluded and Ames faced trial, the narrative of betrayal became a cautionary tale within the intelligence community. Today, we pick up where we left off. The investigation into Aldrich Ames was a complicated and drawn-out process. It unfolded amidst real turmoil within the CIA, which was already struggling with its own internal issues. By the time Ames was arrested on February 21, 1994, the agency was under intense scrutiny from both the public and the government. This wasn't just about one man's betrayal. It exposed deep-rooted systemic failures across the organization that we still grapple with today. It was a wake-up call, revealing cracks in our intelligence infrastructure.
Aurelius, I hear you framing this as a failure of oversight and systems. But we can't overlook the human side of this tragedy. This investigation is also about the lives lost. Those brave agents who put their trust in their government. Each one had hopes, dreams, and families waiting for them. Their sacrifices shouldn't just be reduced to numbers in a larger narrative. We owe it to them to remember who they were and the price they paid.
You're correct. The human cost was profound. The internal investigations revealed failures that allowed Ames to operate undetected for nearly a decade. In that time, 25 CIA assets were compromised, and many were executed by foreign adversaries. We often overlook the small signs, thinking they won't lead to disaster. But history shows us that neglecting these warnings can lead to devastating consequences. We can't afford to forget this lesson as we move forward.
But it's not just about oversight, is it? This was a culture that put operational success on a pedestal, often at the expense of security. Paul Redmont's testimony really highlighted that. Those in power ignored the red flags that analysts were desperately waving. It's heartbreaking to think about how that culture of complacency let someone like Ames operate unchecked for so long, putting countless lives at risk. People suffered because the system failed to protect them.
The congressional hearings that followed were revealing, to say the least. James Woolsey, who was then the CIA director, openly acknowledged the agency's embarrassment. His remark, "We must do better to protect our people and our interests," resonated throughout the intelligence community. But let's be honest, how often do leaders make such promises without any real follow-through? It's almost routine, isn't it? We hear the same lines repeated time and again, yet the changes we need seem to remain just out of reach.
That's precisely my point. Woolsey's acknowledgement came only after the damage was done, and by then, it was too late. The failures we faced weren't just about individuals. They were systemic. The fallout from Ames' actions stirred a public outcry for accountability. The real tragedy lies in how many voices were silenced along the way, people who deserve to be heard. We need to remember those individuals and the impact of what they went through.
Documents have revealed that Ames received over $2,500,000 from the KGB diet. This staggering sum isn't just a financial crime. It highlights the depth of his betrayal. It's a moral failure of epic proportions. By choosing to betray his own country, Ames jeopardized countless lives, putting our national security at risk. We have to remember that in the world of espionage, loyalty is everything. When that's compromised, the consequences are often catastrophic.
And what of the families left behind? They were grappling with unimaginable loss, often in silence. Each day they faced reminders of their loved ones, haunted by what could have been. The agency's failures became public, yet the personal toll was ignored. This betrayal wasn't just about money. It shattered lives and families. Ames' actions had real, devastating consequences. We can't forget the faces behind the headlines. They deserve to be heard, to share their stories of heartache and resilience.
As the investigation trudged on, allegations of cover-ups began to emerge. Critical documents were withheld from Congress, and that raised serious questions about transparency. The Senate Intelligence Committee emphasized that this lack of openness jeopardized national security. We can't underestimate how a culture of secrecy can be just as damaging as the betrayal itself. When information is hidden, trust erodes. History has shown us that without accountability, the very foundations of our democracy can crumble.
Exactly, Aurelius. Whistleblowers stepped forward, shining a light on all the leads that were ignored and the alarms that were dismissed. This wasn't just negligence. It was a choice made to downplay serious failures. Take the memo from October 1990, for instance. Dismissing people's concerns as speculative wasn't just a mistake. It was a grave error that cost lives, real lives. We have to remember that behind every decision, there are individuals who pay the price.
The atmosphere of fear within the agency was palpable. You could feel it in the air. Employees worried that any misstep could expose them, leading to dire consequences. This anxiety stifled communication and transparency. When an environment turns toxic, trust simply evaporates. People start watching their backs instead of collaborating. That's how espionage thrives, operating in the shadows, where suspicion reigns and alliances crumble. It's a cycle that breeds paranoia, and history shows us how this plays out time and again.
Ames's capture was the culmination of years of hard work and countless hours of surveillance. His arrest in a grocery store felt almost surreal, like a scene from a movie. It really illustrates the mundane reality of intelligence work, where the extraordinary can happen in the most ordinary places. This case showed just how blind the agency was to its own vulnerabilities, right until the very end. It's a stark reminder that even the best can falter, often with serious consequences for everyone involved.
The trial revealed some truly shocking details about Ames' dealings with the KGB Iowa. We saw evidence that included wiretapped conversations, intercepted messages, and even bank records that laid bare his treachery. His actions compromised U.S. intelligence gathering efforts on a profound level. It's a sobering reminder that even the most secretive organizations have deep vulnerabilities. When we let our guard down, it's not just information that's at stake. It's national security itself. We must learn from this.
That's where we leave it this time. Aldrich Ames continuous. The story isn't finished yet. Find the full series on the Classified Archive, part of the Archive Network. We'll be back with the next chapter.